Welcome to Stifel's Sightlines podcast, focusing each week on a topic or two important to investors. Well, greetings and welcome to the Sightlines podcast. This is Michael O'Keefe, Stifel's Chief Investment Officer. Hey, in the last few episodes, we've been talking about artificial intelligence, really around the impact on the labor market, what we'll be looking for in businesses as they use AI to hopefully generate durable long-term returns. We talked about applications in healthcare. And in this episode, I want to go a little broader than that, talk about where AI is spreading super fast, and that's in areas already more digital by nature. So specifically, I want to get into cybersecurity as well as financial services as two areas where we're seeing AI really kind of pick up. And so let's kind of jump into it from the perspective first of cybersecurity. So, the bottom line is obviously that's a very sort of technically driven area. What we've seen is adoption is moving along pretty well. Surveys showing that about a third, called 34% of companies are already using or implementing AI applications in their security tools. Another 56 are exploring it. And so think of it as interest, but not yet scaled adoption. Now, what's been notable, and we talked a little bit about this in the last episode, is the idea of measuring things. This is obviously something that could be well measured, the idea of really using AI to improve on threat detection and response speed. So the mean time between detection and response is sort of an important window, right? You'll figure out something's going on, how quickly can you respond? That interval is basically closing as companies are using AI to automate some routine monitoring. And the other thing is, think of it as error rate. So AI is able to help reduce duplicate alerts and also looking through code and things to look for any troubles. And interestingly, kind of by using AI, keeping the sort of knowledgeable staff free to focus on important things. Now, the other thing that's interesting about cyber threats is that the adversaries, the bad guys, if you will, are using AI as well. So think adversarial prompts basically are systems where the prompts are going to try to trick AI into making a mistake, or data poisoning, the idea of feeding AI bad data to train the models in the direction you want it to go, meaning create trouble. And so what this has sort of resulted in is a more active idea of what I guess they call red teaming, which is having your people, whether they're retained from the outside or on your staff, play the role of the attacker and ultimately use that effort to kind of retain your models to be better than them and kind of be ready for the trouble that they're creating. And, the backdrop of this is obviously cyber attacks they're certainly among our geopolitical risks, but they're sort of identified as something that ranks up there when it comes to global risks over the next 3 to 5 years and beyond. And so again, the idea that it's still kind of early days, but hey, the systems, the tools we're seeing AI implemented into some of those and more to come for sure. Now, switching gears and talking about financial institutions, in some ways, people see AI as an enabler, sort of a core enabler for growth. So when it comes to sort of financial institutions, most companies are saying, yeah, we plan to increase spending in AI in the coming year and start to use it. And you can think in terms of where it's being used. It's trading desks, it's sort of portfolio analysis, it's essentially compliance. There's all kinds of different uses. And, obviously when it comes to trading and portfolio analysis or security analysis, obviously that really is designed to improve results, hopefully, and ultimately sometimes with the information flow, improve how folks are interacting with clients. Now, on the compliance side, of course, this AI creates the opportunity to process a lot of information. And so think of it as pages that might have to be reviewed from compliance purposes, the speed with which that can get done with AI, once again, with a sort of a repeatable process that makes it easier to measure both the accuracy of the work and the turnaround, the faster turnaround that might happen as issues are identified, but ultimately that all leads to accuracy and speed improvements. Now, when we take a step back, AI is definitely sort of identified as an improvement to the economy. You know, a number I saw was that U.S. GDP is improved by 1.1% annualized in the first half of 2025 due to AI-related spending. And so that, for example, was bigger than the consumer segment contribution to GDP growth. So we know there's data center construction, and the AI hyperscalers are investing a lot of money in the CapEx pointed to artificial intelligence and supporting that. Now, with all of this, as we've talked about before, the execution that companies go through, whether it's in cybersecurity or financial services, the quality of that execution is really important. And so, you know, in some ways, as we've talked about, there's going to be more clarity, I think, over time here in the relatively near term on sort of the winners and losers as it relates to these various areas of competition, and then how AI is being used to improve businesses. So anyway, listen, that's what we wanted to get into in this episode. Really appreciate you taking a minute to listen, and we'll look forward to continuing the discussion in the future. Thanks so much. Thanks again for listening to Stifel's Sightlines. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to automatically receive each week's podcast in your feed.